All right, now we are live, guys. What's up? We're finally here. Brand Patrol, episode 3. Over to my right, we got Lawrence Bussatil.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. SingStar says, what's up, L-Dog?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we are the hosts of Brand Patrol, or at least this episode. There's me. I'm an award-winning designer and content creator at Squishy Joshi. You can find me pretty much everywhere at Squishy Joshi, except Instagram, because some kid took it. Some kid took my handle.
So got virtually rolled.
They're not even active on Instagram. But anyways, it's Squishy.
Fly him out. That's what he's waiting for.
Yeah. That's what he's waiting for. So it's Squishy_Joshi on Instagram. If you would like to follow, feel free to do so. And then we've got Lawrence over here on the right. He's a go-kart racer and marketing specialist.
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to give a little bit more information about yourself, Lawrence? No. I have a question.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah? Cool.
Next slide.
Next slide.
No, yeah, what are we going on about?
Tell me about this go-kart racing. What's that all about? I think you post go-kart racing videos on your YouTube. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the thing. I thoroughly enjoy go-karting. Hashtag I'm not sponsored, but if you want to sponsor me, I could do with some money to further my race career. And yep, I got a GoPro, some videos, upload them to the YouTube. Lots of fun. POV action.
Yeah, nice.
You should go to the races.
Yeah, one day.
Have a go, Josh. I know you don't have a license, but you got to get behind the wheel.
I'd love to do some go-karting one day. It's just the convenience of getting there. But maybe I'll go with Tricks one day, so we'll see what happens.
Well, if you guys go, let me know, bro.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I've got to hone my skills.
Absolutely. Now, I thought we'd have a little bit of fun before we kick off the actual Brand Patrol. So on the Discord server, feel free to join that as well. There's a link down in the description. But we've been discussing what is the actual name for these certain things, right? And obviously everyone's got a different opinion. So if I put these 3 images up on the screen now, I'm sure you people that are watching all call these things very different things. Here in Australia, we call the first one a rock melon, but in America...
I guess we do have an international viewer base.
Yeah, we do have an international viewer base. So it's very interesting to see people argue on which one is the actual name or which one makes more sense to be the name. And you can see...
We could have a whole podcast just on that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, even coriander and... What was the other word for it? Cilantro, yeah.
You wear thongs or flip-flops.
Thongs or flip-flops, exactly. The thing with the capsicum at the end. So I've been saying it's a bell pepper, and our mod Jelly hates it so much. Yeah, it's just like, how are you an Australian calling it bell pepper? No, okay. So here's the funny thing, right? Spoiler for later on in the stream, but we talk about artificial intelligence. But I was playing around with some artificial intelligence, and I was like, hey, can you write me a high-protein diet plan that hits 2,300 calories per day? And then it starts writing me out this diet plan, and one of the things was like, for breakfast, have like chopped bell peppers. And I'm like, even the AI calls it bell peppers.
Because nearly every program is like Americanized.
Yeah, but still.
I know, bell peppers contain a chemical called capsaicum, so that's why they're called capsicums.
Ah, that makes more sense. Jelly was trying to prove her point about capsicums before, and I can't remember what she said, but it was just like, nah. Say guys just like bell peppers. Some people actually just call it pepper. Like I think in the UK they're just like it's a pepper. Yeah. Anyways, that was a bit of fun for the start. So we've got a bit of an agenda for today's Brand Patrol stream. We're going to be looking at some design and branding news, in particular artificial intelligence. We're going to look at what is a logo, because that's actually very important before we get into the car brand logos that we're going to discuss. And some of those car brands include Volvo, Nissan, Kia, BMW, Volkswagen, and then we're going to look at logo simplification. So why are these companies nowadays simplifying their logos and making them 2D instead of 3D and blah, blah, blah. And then we're going to do one final case study at the end on Baskin and Robbins. So that should be interesting, guys, and I hope you all enjoy this. So first up, we got some design news. So as of late, I mean, this is a thing that's been around for a while, but artificial intelligence has been blowing up in the last couple of months, or even like the last couple of weeks even, as it continues to become something that people are just using everywhere. Like people are writing entire YouTube scripts out of AI now, and it's just kind of ridiculous. What are your thoughts on AI, Lawrence?
It poses all kinds of things that you need to consider, especially if you're using AI to create art or products. Is the person in charge of the AI the creator of what the AI created, or does the AI own that?
Yeah, just on that, there was a recent AI app that came out called LENSA, and hello Whooshi in the chat. Yeah, so there was an app that came out called LENSA where I think it was initially free when it came out, or maybe it charged people like a couple bucks just to get the app. But people thought it was affordable, so they all got it. And overnight, people were generating all these like AI images. And basically how it works is you upload some photos of yourself, and then the AI scans it and then uses that information and merges it with like already existing artwork, and then blends it together with your photos and tries to sell you this whole idea that it's created something new, which is kind of dumb. I mean, the fact that people were charging for the app as well, you're stealing art from people that don't give consent for the art to be used, and you're making a profit off it because people are just like, oh, this looks so cool, I can get a portrait of myself for like $4 or whatever, instead of paying like an actual artist to do it. So that's kind of like where things are at with AI right now, and there's no kind of real proper kind of laws and stuff around it. But yeah, that's what's been going on.
Probably will be laws in the near future, because there weren't laws about heaps of other stuff when new emerging technologies, new concepts came about, and then, well, it's getting out of hand. We need to like regulate this.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a very controversial topic, but there was a little post that someone did, and I've put it up on the screen here. So it basically says, the LENSA app uses the stable diffusion model to create those AI images. That model is trained on the Lion database, and that database is full of stolen artwork and sensitive images. Using LENSA hurts illustrators and photographers in two major ways. This database was built without consent nor compensation, which means the work is stolen, and the proliferation of cheap AI art is culturally devaluing the work of illustrators, which is already at rock bottom. Is there an ethical way to create AI art? Absolutely. Databases built on images that artists have opted into are being compensated for is the first step. Pretty much none of these AI art apps do that because it would make their business model unprofitable. Too long didn't read. Your fun AI art is being built with stolen images and is hurting artists. The only way to win the fight here is to make these apps undesirable and unprofitable by not using them. Fun fact, the Lion database is so indiscriminate about the images it stores that it even includes private images from medical records. That is the level of unethical neglect we are dealing with here.
Wow.
What's your thoughts on that? That's huge, isn't it?
Imagine if you were paying for Spotify, no musician agreed to have their songs on Spotify.
Oh yeah, which is kind of like what Taylor Swift was doing at one point, wasn't it? She was just like, oh, you want my music on your software? Pay me more. But yeah, 100%. Like even the medical records.
That's way too far. Like
Yeah.
we already crossed the line with this, and then we're just like going so far past it now.
Yeah, and then like when it creates stuff like this, you're also like I mentioned this on the server. I was like, you're blurring the line between like plagiarism and fair use as well.
Absolutely.
And so that's probably why we need to get some sort of laws onto this. Here are some examples of what LENSA was creating for people, and fair enough, like if you were just some person that wasn't informed about the whole AI thing, you'd love this, right? You'd be like, oh yeah, I can get like my portrait up and I'll give myself a new Facebook profile picture and Instagram and whatnot.
On a superficial level, this is amazing, especially if you have no idea how it actually works.
Yeah, you throw your photos into it and it blends your photos with artwork that people have created. But the thing is, right, you get this, so in the top left image, there's like a warped signature, like an actual artist's signature that the AI can't quite understand. And so it's kind of turned it into like these random glyphs in the corner of an image. So it's like probably 5 different artists' signatures blended into one. And that's the result. You can't really justify, doing that. You're stealing from people.
Yeah, but at the same time, heaps of people paying for this, they don't care.
Oh yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. You just see it everywhere. They're just like, oh yeah, pay a couple bucks for this app, get a cool new profile picture that I can show off to people, and then everyone else is like, well, where'd you get that from? So then they do it too. It's just like, yeah, okay, whatever. But that's the point of that post on the previous slide. People need to see that because they don't realize what they're doing. But I don't know. I feel like it's still not going to stop people. They're just going to be doing that. Until there's some kind of law that regulates all of this sort of AI stuff, then yeah, it's not happening.
Side note, because this is unethical product/service that people are buying, there are other unethical products and services still being done or produced today, and people still buy it. So something that they teach you at business, one way to look at business is 3 key parties. There's the actual business, there's the consumers, there's the government. And the government's role is to make regulations to mitigate this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you take the government out of this, the biggest factor is not the business, it's actually the consumers. The consumers have all the power in reality because if every consumer decided not to buy something, the business will be forced to change its business model.
Right.
The fact that people are purchasing unethical products or services gives power to the business to keep doing it.
Yeah.
If enough people stood their ground, the business would stop. But because people keep going with it, business is just going to keep going.
Yeah. So I guess that's kind of why people are all getting into like the digital currencies now as well, right? Like Bitcoin and all that.
Don't get me started on Bitcoin.
That could be a whole different episode there. Sagar's saying some stuff in the chat. He says, you got to see it like these apps are targeting people that have no idea about this. Yep. I mean, you pay $10 for 100 images within minutes. Yep. Compared to paying $100 for one image that takes days. So people would rather pay for convenience.
Absolutely. There would be a significant number of people that would learn the truth about it and then stop using it, but there would be even more people that learn the truth about it and then they would just keep going.
Yeah.
Because of that convenience.
Yeah.
That cost.
Yeah, but it pays to sort of know, what sort of database that AI is using. So if there is an ethical AI database out there, then maybe use that one instead of the LENSA app. I think there may be one. People are talking a lot about this AI called Midjourney or what's the other one? DALL-E. So I think DALL-E is produced by Google, if I'm not mistaken. But this particular image that I'm showing here on screen was produced by either Midjourney or DALL-E. And I think that does completely original artworks based on what prompt you type into the bar. It may be borrowing from other people's art, but I don't think they've really disclosed that information. But these are some examples. Like you can type in the chat, create me a painting of a dog with a flower in its mouth in different styles, and it will come up with something like this. Here's another example of AI generated art. So TikTok have got this filter called AI MANGA. And so basically you can just put a photo of you or like a video clip of yourself, and in like 2 to 3 seconds, it will change you into this anime version of yourself. And here's a little video clip of that as well with me and Trix. We did it at a bouldering gym.
Apparently, I'm Drake LMAO, ha ha ha.
I don't know how, but AI somehow saw me as Drake, and that's how it works. It's surprisingly fast. Hello, Boku. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you here. Glad you made it.
I'd like to throw out there's a good AI movie called Bicentennial Man.
Bicentennial Man?
Williams, classic movie. The key question they were asking throughout the film was, what's essentially the definition between what makes AI versus what could make them human? That was the running theme. What makes the AI that is Robin Williams' android in that movie? Why isn't he considered human?
Right.
But one of the subplots in that film came up was that Robin Williams is an android and he was producing woodworks. And he was selling those woodworks to make money. Does that money belong to the android, or does that money belong to the person that owns the AI android?
Ooh.
Good movie. You can work out that answer from watching it, but that's just one of the questions they posed in there. And I think that does come back to this.
All right. We've had a look at some artificial intelligence. That's basically all the design news for this one. But let's take a look at some car logos now. It's kind of old news somewhat. They're still kind of rolling out these rebrands, but we're going to take a look at them anyway, even though it's kind of old news, because we've been meaning to talk about them for a while. So let's jump right in, because there's a lot of car brands to talk about. Actually, before we talk about the car logos, how about we just define what is a logo, what a logo actually is. And so a logo is a graphic design symbol or emblem that represents a company or organization. It is often used to identify the brand and to distinguish it from other brands. Yeah, the quotation marks. Yeah. Logos can be created using text, images, or a combination of both, and they are often used in marketing materials such as on business cards, letterheads, and websites. The design of a logo should be memorable and unique, as it should ideally well, you didn't quote the ideally, that's in brackets. Convey the values and character of the company or organization. That's a pretty good description.
That sounds legit. Did you come up with that?
No, so actually this was all generated by an AI. An artificial intelligence wrote this entire slide. Can you believe that?
AI wrote that.
AI wrote that. Wow. So I typed into an AI called ChatGPT. I was like, can you tell me what a logo is? And it wrote that entire paragraph for me, man. That's crazy.
Students could just use that to write their essays.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine being imagine being a student in 2023.
What a time to be alive.
Can you imagine, like, me, you, and, like, our friend Sam just using this? And Sam be like, that sounds stupid.
Potential.
We didn't really take high school, like, super seriously. We had math classes where we would play Monopoly.
It was math.
Yeah, I mean, you're still working with numbers, I guess.
Mathematically, the square that you're most likely to land on is jail. Also in Monopoly.
Oh, thank you for the hydrate, Sagar. Hashtag hydrate or dihydrate. So why should logos be identifiable? Well, this is also from ChatGPT, the AI. Identifiable logo.
Yeah, pause the stream.
Pause the stream? You can't pause a live stream. Just Lawrence is having a moment. Lawrence has to hydrate as well, apparently. Lawrence, if you've got some water, you should hydrate. There we go. Down a beer, mate. Lawrence is on the clock.
The best drink on tap is water,
and that's on course. All right. When people see a logo, they should be able to immediately think of the company or organization that it represents. This can be achieved through the use of unique and memorable design elements, such as specific colors, shapes, and fonts. Now, here are some examples of good logos. So you can read all that stuff on the screen, but essentially the Nike logo, the Apple logo, the McDonald's logo, and the Coca-Cola logo are timeless, really identifiable logos that are really good, and they really work in the 2D flat thing that we're seeing a lot of these days. And again, this slide was written by ChatGPT. So why should a logo work in black and white or monochrome? It's generally a good idea for logos to work in both black and white, as well as in color, because they may be used in a variety of different contexts and media. Having a logo that works in both black and white ensures that it will be effective and legible no matter how it is used. Additionally, logos that work in both black and white are often more versatile and can be used more effectively in a variety of contexts. For example, a logo that is designed to work in both black and white may be easier to use on a website where it may be displayed in different colors, or it may be easier to embroider on a company uniform. Here are some examples of good logos. So we got the Nike, Target, the McDonald's, the Shell logo, the Starbucks logo, and the Apple logo. Very simple, they work flat, you can embroider them onto shirts easily, amazing. Another example here, FedEx, IBM, Coca-Cola, CNN, Disney, NASA. They stand out. You know what they are. If they're shrunk down to like a tiny size, you can probably still see them. Here's what those logos look like in black and white. You can still literally see what these logos are. But here's an example of one that is not in black and white. The Porsche logo, the full Porsche logo. So I personally see this more of like an emblem, but it is their logo, right? Now, if we were to take that logo and make it black and white, that's what you get. It's just a black shield, and that could mean anything. It could be the uni that you went to, Lawrence, Western Sydney University, because they have a shield logo as well. But in reality, companies need to make these style logos so that they can work in any context. So this is a black and white version of the Porsche logo.
The original Porsche logo is just like so premium, and then when it's in black and white, it just looks very lame. I don't know how, like, there's better words for that, but...
Yeah, so why simple? Cleaner lines and fewer components can make a design seem more approachable and user-friendly. Simplification also makes life easier for a lot of brands in the automotive industry. A simpler design is easier to craft into a badge for a car. In apparel, the same is true, with simple logos making it easier to spread your image across multiple landscapes. And while there are many factors influencing the rise of simple logo design, most experts believe that the real purpose behind this trend is shifting technology and markets. From a technology perspective, the tech we have today makes it easier to experiment with graphic design and explore new modes of simplification. At the same time, the way we use technology such as smartphones and smaller screens is pushing designers to prioritize less complexity. From a market perspective, oversimplification also helps to ensure your company can appear as modern and up-to-date as possible. If all other logos in your industry are becoming simpler, a complex design can make you look old-fashioned. Yeah.
Add something.
Sure.
On one side of the coin, we're making simpler logos to be more modern. But at the same time, a lot of businesses are targeting younger people, and younger people are exposed to so much more information, especially digital information, than people were previously. We're taking in so much more, and to get their attention, you need simple things that stand out.
Yeah.
That's the other side of that modern. We need to look simple but modern coin.
Yeah.
That's like another why to it.
All right. Well, let's have a look at our first card round for today.